What's up, everyone? We are live at 5 here at Broadway.com. It is Tuesday, September 3rd, back to school day. I'm Paul Wontorek.
And I'm Ryan Gilbert.
And we're joined by Caitlin Moynihan.
It's me. Hello.
Garbled my words there.
Okay. That denim.
And one of our favorite leading men.
One of our favorites, absolutely.
Fantastic. Who's here?
Reeve Carney is here, everybody. From the Tony-winning HADESTOWN. Very exciting. We love Reeve Carney.
Big fat Broadway hit.
Yeah.
Thrilled to see him. He's doing more shows at Green Room 42. We're going to talk about that. And he's in HADESTOWN, as you mentioned. Yeah. We will get to him. And don't worry, he's wearing suspenders. But first, today's top 5.
The phones are ringing and the doors are chiming, y'all.
Yeah, so you've probably already heard about this, but this news came
after.
Recap. Exactly. So, but this is big news. So, the Marion Elliott's Gender Bent company that was a big hit over in London, Olivier Award-winning, is transferring to Broadway, happening in March 2020, and we know that Tony winners Katrina Lenk and Patti LuPone, who will be, of course, reprising her performance as Joanne, will be headlining the production.
Katrina's brand new.
Yeah, Katrina's brand new. She'll be playing Bobby. Bobby and Joanne are their characters.
Bobbie.
That's right, because it's gender bent.
She used to
How do we feel about the term gender bent?
I saw it in our headline, and I was like, gender fluid. How are we supposed to be?
I don't know yet. I don't have a suggestion, but I don't know if I'm sold on gender
Some of the roles traditionally played by men are now played by women.
Exactly.
And women. Because also getting married today is now a gay man.
Yes.
So anyway,
absolutely.
A lot more casting to come.
So yes, so additional casting will be announced at a later date. There's lots more to come, but here's what we do know: it will play the Bernard B. Jacobs Theater. It will begin performances on March 2nd of 2020, and it will open on March 22nd, which also happens to be the 90th birthday of course, Stephen Sondheim. Elliott's Take is based on the 1970 Tony Award-winning musical, of course. It revolves around Bobby's 35th birthday party. All of her friends were wondering why she isn't married, why she can't find the right guy, why isn't she settled down with a family. Lenk, of course, earned a Tony Award for The Band's Visit. LuPone has an Olivier for playing Joanne, and then she's got Tonys for Gypsy and Evita, and another Olivier for Les Mis. Like we said, additional casting soon.
Can we remind everyone, though, that when Patti LuPone was in War Paint, she said
appeared on Show People.
She said she wouldn't do another musical.
She said she was
on
done.
Broadway.
Yeah.
We're glad you changed your mind.
Yes, we're thrilled.
See you in March.
And another play has officially joined the boards for this season.
Speaking of March, so spring is heating up.
Yes, no kidding.
Because the Lehman trilogy, a big hit from London and previously seen in New York for a brief run at the Park Avenue Armory, is also coming March 7th at the Nederlander Theater. This is, it was a big hit in London. It was nominated for a lot of Oliviers.
Yeah.
So this is the Lehman Brothers, the big bank that of course collapsed in 2008, right?
Yep, right around 2007, 2008, yeah.
So this is the 2-century story of the actual brothers, the brothers who started the Lehman Brothers, and I'm really interested in this. I don't know much about it. Sam Mendes is the director. He's super talented. And Adam Godley, Ben Miles, and Simon Russell Beale, who are all fantastic British actors who have appeared on Broadway in the past, will be reprising their roles. And this is going to be a big one.
Yeah. It's a very play-heavy season.
Well, and I was actually, thank you for pointing that out. You know I love talking Tonys. And based on my count, there are now 11 plays.
Yeah.
11 plays definitely happening this season. But right now, it's pretty safe to say the Lehman trilogy and The Inheritance are sort of the two big
contenders,
big heavy swingers, because they're both coming off big success in London. But anyway, it's a great season for drama and comedies on Broadway.
Broadway's Hamilton is having a familiar face step in for a few performances.
We are talking about, of course, Kyle Scatliffe, who played Marquis de Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson in the Hamilton tour. But now he'll be playing the role on Broadway, while James Monroe Iglehart takes a little break to play Phil in, of course, the Public Works staging of Hercules, which is that thing you've entered to get tickets to and you haven't gotten them yet. So this will be a limited engagement for Kyle Scatliffe. He'll be there from September 3rd through the 26th at the theater. Of course, you may have seen him in The Color Purple or in Les Mis or off-Broadway as in As You Like It or Big River. We love Kyle Scatliffe. He's fantastic Thomas Jefferson. Go over to the theater and check them out.
And audiences have one more chance to go from zero to hero.
So I saw Hercules last night in Central Park.
That's right.
The audience is, I mean, you really feel like you're entering an event. People are so
excited, psyched about this.
For this production. And it's getting great reviews. Public Works production, of course, which means that it's over 200 people in the cast, and it involves a lot of non-actors. I mean, it's sort of like regular community people and marching bands and dancers. And anyway, go see it. But I know everyone's dying to see it, and it's really hard to get in. But they have added a performance tomorrow night at 8 p.m. This is an added bonus performance, and I believe if you go to the site and read the story, you'll find out how to get a ticket. But I believe it starts at midnight tonight.
Midnight to noon tomorrow.
You enter a lottery starting at midnight tonight. This is, of course, a stage adaptation of the animated movie Hercules, which features, well, first of all, Jelani Aladdin is playing Hercules.
He's Hercules.
Roger Bart, who did the voice of Hercules originally, is now Hades. And of course, our guest today knows all about Hades. Christian Rodriguez, who will be here later in the week to talk to us. James Monroe Iglehart, as you just mentioned. A new book by Christopher Diaz, and Alan Menken and David Zippel wrote the score, and there are new songs. And anyway, this is only through September 8th, but tomorrow is your one bonus opportunity. And I actually saw Jelani posted on social media that the last minute line seems sort of successful.
Yes, that's
We're
true
showing
too.
up.
Good
There's
to
some other
know.
like last minute cancellation line you can go the night of. So anyway, Jelani said it works. So
and if
I'm assuming it
Hercules,
does.
If Hercules says it works, amazing. And we found out some casting about this Broadway play turned movie.
Yes, so I don't know, in 2014, you may have seen the Tony-nominated play Outside Mullingar that was written by John Patrick Shanley. That is now going to become a film, but it's also had a title change. It will now be called Wild Mountain Thyme, spelled like the herb, T-H-Y-M-E.
I love titles named after herbs.
You know, exactly. They will star Emily Blunt, who Mary Poppins Returns star, of course. It'll also star Jamie Dornan, who you may have seen in that very creepy show called The Fall. He's very handsome.
Wasn't it
terrifying.
Deborah Messing on Broadway?
It was Deborah Messing on Broadway. Yes, absolutely. And there are some great people involved. Also, so Emily Blunt is replacing Holiday Granger, who was originally going to play the role Deborah Messing played on Broadway. But there also will be John Hamm, who's playing the role.
Emily Blunt's a replacement?
Emily Blunt is a replacement, yes. But, you know,
seems like she'd be the top of the list.
John Hamm will be playing the role that was originated by Brian F. O'Byrne on Broadway.
Yep.
And also Christopher Walken, and Dervla Malloy will be reprising her role as Ifla. She played the role on Broadway as well, which is really cool. It's a very, very strange play. There are weird things that happen, but it's also about love, and it's beautiful, and you should absolutely be on the lookout for this movie.
I don't remember much about it. It was strange.
It was very strange. Remember, it had lots to. I don't want to give, but like
No spoilers.
bees were an important part. It was very strange. Yeah, but yeah, check it out. There are also really cool things on the site right now.
Like what?
Austin Scott is the latest fresh face.
Yes.
Come on.
He's
Hamilton star.
Hamilton star. He's fantastic. There's a new Tug Rice illustration.
5 things to do this week, including see today's guest in concert, which we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. There's a new closing time feature. You can find out, you know, what's leaving, what's changing, what you need to see. We all put out some new staff picks of what we're rooting for in September, and a new episode of Elaine Page. Of course, Elaine Page on Sunday. So
Thank you,
check
Ryan.
all of that. My pleasure. I was really happy to be here. You know.
Hey, Caitlin, tell everyone about
Yes.
today's guest.
Gladly. Yes, we have Mr. Reeve Carney here with us in the studio because he's currently going way down as Orpheus and the Tony-winning, critically acclaimed, fan favorite, Broadway.com Audience Choice Award-winning musical, HADESTOWN. He's previously seen on Broadway in Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark and is also known for his role in TV's Penny Dreadful. He's also a very accomplished musician. He had a band with his family called Carney. He's a solo musician. He's got a lot of good stuff out there. He's been playing at the Green Room 42, sold out audiences, coming back, doing two stints this month. We're going to talk all about that. Be sure to follow him on social media at Reeve Carney to stay up to date on everything he's doing and what's going on over at HADESTOWN. Leave all of your questions in the comments below, and please welcome Reeve and Paul.
Thank you, Caitlin.
No problem.
Hello, Mr. Carney.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Good to see you.
You too.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Doesn't it feel like New York is really Hadestown right now with all this Hercules talk? And
Right. Yeah. Well, Patrick posted a picture of him with
Patrick Page, who plays Hades.
Hades
yeah.
in Hercules.
Yes.
The two of them the other
He
day,
was with
so-
Roger Bart. I
Yeah.
saw that photo. photo.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And now the lightning thief is coming too across
Right.
the street from. There's a lot of mythology happening.
Yeah.
The Hadestown is a guaranteed big hit. How are you feeling? I mean, the Tonys must have been a crazy night.
It's really exciting.
And now, I walk by this theater every day. There's audiences lined. I saw two girls sitting there when I went to lunch. They were just sitting there parked in front of the box office eating McDonald's. I don't know what they were doing, but I assume they were waiting for a ticket or to see you or something. But
it's quite an honor. Like, I didn't think I'd be a part of a business in which someone would start waiting at maybe 10 o'clock at night the night before to get a rush ticket or something. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
I was thinking if you own like a florist shop or something and people did that, I think that'd be really cool too. They'd be very excited, I think, if it's like, wow, you guys have been here all night. I mean, it is cool. I'm just saying, I'm trying to put it in perspective. It's wild that people are doing that, but so for that reason, we owe them quite a lot when we perform. So we try our best every night,
So if you could just recap it in a really broad sense, how is this experience different than being Spider-Man and Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark? Peter Parker, that was obviously a huge, everyone knows about, the sort of journey of that show. How is all of this, how does it feel different to you?
Well, I'm not flying around the audience in Hadestown, so
do you miss the flying?
I miss it in the sense that it was something that was really enjoyable for me, but I don't miss it in the context of this show, obviously.
No, the lights fly instead in Hades.
Right.
The lights do the flying.
But I knew that I would. I knew sort of a month before my last performance in Spider-Man, I sort of was thinking to myself, this is going to be something I will certainly miss, because it really felt like, you ever been on that Batman roller coaster at Six Flags?
Yes.
It felt like that, but with no roller coaster. It was incredible. So I did love that. But I guess this feels different. Hadestown, we're in a smaller theater, not small by any means, but the Foxwoods now, the Lyric was, at the time, almost 2,000 seats. And I think they've renovated it to 1,600 or something like that. But it was a large theater, quite a big barn, I guess, as they say. So the style, it informs the style of the acting in that way. So I think it's nice to be a part of something on stage in which a lot of the nuance and the detail is actually captured even from the back of the house. Yeah. You still have to, amp it up a little bit. I like to say, you want to start from a truthful perspective, but turning up the truth is what I like to say, and trying to figure out how much you have to throttle that. That's one reason I love acting. It feels to me almost like being a surgeon, because you have the job, but it's still a practice. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, you always have a chance to learn every night, especially in theater, more than any other art form, I think.
It also feels like Hadestown is really about the talents on stage, and it's really, it's not Spider-Man. People were walking in knowing the story. They were there for the spectacle.
Right.
Hadestown, people were calling it Hadestown. People kept saying to me, "What's this Hadestown?"
An 80s
show?
town.
It's like, it's Hades. People didn't even know how to say it.
Right.
They don't even really know what they're walking into.
Right.
So you're really telling the story, and just the way it's crafted, it's so beautifully theatrical and simple. And so, does it feel like a different challenge in that sense too?
Well, I think in my experience on stage with Hadestown, there's so much that happens underneath the surface, and so much, I don't know, maybe I call it sometimes invisible work, that I think is quite important because of the poetry in the show, because there's so much metaphor and so much of a figurative nature to the show, and things that are non-literal, that what we impregnate the words with under the surface.
Impregnating the words.
I think,
Sure.
I think you have to, it has to be pretty full. I think that helps. Not that you don't have to do that in a show like Spider-Man, but like you said, there is so much technically happening in Spider-Man that even when doing that, you might not necessarily notice it from the actors, because there's so many lights and crazy things. So I don't know. I think that's one way in which it feels different to me, maybe. If I answered that question. I'm trying to think.
Thank you for wearing suspenders.
Oh,
you're known for your snappy
It would be
style.
harder for me not to, if you.
I would always love to get a peek at your actual closet, because you have amazing things. Are you ever just wearing like I don't ever see you just in like clothes like that I could buy like at the Gap or Old Navy.
I sometimes would.
Do you have those days too?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I like working wear from like the 1940s and earlier. That seems to be the stuff I'm drawn to. So I like a lot of like overalls and suspenders and things like that, and kind of faded, messed up things that now are kind of fancy looking. It's kind of odd
Yeah.
that we've gotten to this point where stuff that was complete working man's clothing from back then is now can now get you into like a swanky club. That's
Right.
part of why I wear these, because I don't like to have a plan throughout my day. I mean, I have a plan, but I like to be open to it changing. So I find that the jewelry and the suspenders and like little accessories and things kind of help you, so that, you know, you might start going to Starbucks in the morning where you can wear whatever you want, but then at the end of the night, maybe you're at some club that you couldn't get into otherwise if I weren't
Sure.
wearing these suspenders.
Yeah.
So
That's your life. I like your life. You're living you're living a very glamorous life. You're also not only starring in one of the biggest hits on Broadway, but you are doing these concerts. And I know you love doing live. You're fantastic in concert.
Thanks.
You always are doing live gigs throughout. Ever since I've known you, you're always sort of balancing the concert world. And before you did Spider-Man, that's really what you were more than a Broadway actor. But now you're so you're doing the Green Room 42. You
Yes.
You're there on Sunday.
So
So you balance it with your Broadway schedule.
Yeah, I find Sunday night's the best time to do it, because then you do get a proper day off on Monday.
Yeah.
And you're sort of, I don't know, it's you're already in the zone of singing after the matinee that day at Hadestown.
You're all warmed up.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, definitely, but you want to make sure you have to pace yourself a little bit, because it is a 9th show in the week. So yeah. But I think this is my, I don't know, maybe my 10th show at the Green Room 42.
Okay.
I did one with my brother and sister last weekend, which was awesome. We're trying to find another date for that when we're all in town. But in the meantime, I'm doing these solo shows. And sometimes I did a Queen night, which was really fun. Just kind of honoring my favorite artists. I'm thinking.
So you're mixing it up.
Yeah.
Every show's not the same.
No. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing an Elton John night, not because of the film, but that, I guess, is a good publicity angle. But I just love Elton John, so and maybe a Billy Joel night or something. But I haven't planned it all out yet. So.
Nice. This is Tug Rice actually drew this. I love how you captured the suspenders.
Yeah.
Capture suspenders. You're there Sunday. What do you like about that room? It's sort of a cool
it kind
vibe
of looks.
in that room.
It has a little bit of this vibe with the
Reminds
lighting.
you can play this room whenever you want.
Yeah, come by whenever you want.
Sure.
The staff
I
will
could
just
do
sit
it.
around
That'd be fun.
and we'll love it.
I mean, I like the sound. They have a lot of great sound engineers there, and it sounds great. For what I do there, which is basically a solo show, I jump around and play different instruments and things like that. But it's great for that. I mean, I think it'd be great for a band too, but I haven't tried that yet. It has a nice intimate feel. It's a great listening room. People, that's what I like, because I like to be able to talk to the audience like this in between songs, and not have them be like, if you play a bigger rock club, you get a lot of that chatter.
Yeah. It's in the hotel, so you go to the lobby and then you take a right and then a right, just so you know where you are. It's a cool hotel though. It's a hot spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you're doing this. I like that you're keeping it up.
Thanks.
What is Hadestown a grueling show for you? Now that you're open and you're in the rhythm of doing the show, what is your life like outside of the show? And
it's. I mean,
what are you up to?
I plan everything around my 8-show week at Hadestown, just because I feel it's my responsibility to do so. So it's like, but I think it's emotionally there's an aspect. Well, I shouldn't even say aspect, but Hadestown is emotionally quite intense.
Oh, I know. I cry every time I see it.
Which I love I love that about it. But I think the great thing about it is when you are doing your best to just follow the river of. This sounds like you have to jump in that river that leads you to the most truthful place you can in your acting. And if you're in the river, then it doesn't feel like that much work. Like if you're going with, in the direction that it's taking you. I think sometimes, there are certain shows when you're doing 8 of them a week where, you have to find little things to get you there. And it's odd. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it's happening, but then I find that the audience responds even more to the time when you feel like you're fighting against it and having to work for something in an unnatural way. I don't know that I'll ever figure it out. I don't know that any actor figures this out, because there are nights when you think, oh yeah, that was really great, and then maybe the audience it doesn't vocally respond as much. But we're pretty lucky in Hadestown because the crowds are incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent now, but.
The minute you described it as being in a river, I got totally distracted because now I'm picturing you in the Pocahontas musical. I don't know, maybe it's John Smith, and I very nature. I don't know. I can picture that.
That'd be
I'll take
You'll
it.
be just around the river bend. She'll find
Take
you.
it.
I think my point, I just realized now that you said that what my actual point was, which was just that the more I think being in the moment is what you have to do. And if you're there, then it's not as draining as it could be if you're fighting against something. So I try to just be with the present. Story. Yeah, that's...
Do you have, other than Pocahontas, do you have any dream projects you would like to do?
Oh,
I made up
other
the
than
Pocahontas thing, by the way. Yeah. That was not real. I just
steal my journals. I don't know. Dream projects? I don't know. I mean, I love doing new works. I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't love to do a revival. I haven't done one of those yet, but I really am interested in... I'd probably say something that probably hasn't been written yet, maybe.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, they're doing a lot of really interesting revivals nowadays, too. So
I love Hadestown because that role feels so perfect for you, and it feels like it was almost crafted. And I know other actors did it before you, but it feels so perfect for did you feel that when you first got your hands on it? Did you go like, oh, this is a great thing for me?
I didn't know at first because it was quite different when I joined, and I think there were certain things.
Every production of this has been very different.
Yeah, even the two prior to this that I was a part of were quite different. One of my favorite changes for me in Hadestown has been sort of trading this street kid bravado thing that Orpheus had in the past versions with a sense of guilelessness. That's what I think really started to make things connect in a different way. And so for me, that's I don't know what that had to do with exactly, but that was a change that happened. I was able to be a part, of that happening in my involvement and whatnot, and watch that happen. But yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I think it helps. It adds a lot more layers than what was happening in London, which was great. But I think that they didn't feel it was finished, and now on Broadway.
I like the innocence in a leading.
Me too.
In a leading guy.
Yeah,
it's the same thing actually in Moulin Rouge too. Christian and
I haven't gotten to see it yet, but I will soon.
Like it's a very similar sort of like she's tough and then he's sort of the innocent.
Yeah.
I like that energy.
I like the fact that people are showing that men can be that way. I think that's a very nice thing to show because I think it's true. It's not something that we need to necessarily teach people to do, but it's not highlighted in mainstream art too often. So I think that's really cool.
Right. Hey, Caitlin.
Yes.
What are the fans saying online?
Yes, we have so many questions. Sure. So Sunny wants to know, because you play the guitar on stage, what's it like? Do you ever have to like tune it, or because you're playing live? So what's that like?
Yeah, that can be difficult actually. Especially they put in a new HVAC system or something for us, which was great because this summer, July was like the hottest on record or one of the. And so we have this new system, which actually helps because during July it was going nuts. It was just going out of tune every second. I tune it probably 4 times during the show, and then someone else tunes it as well to prepare it for me. But it can be tricky because it's a 65-year-old guitar, so it's we had a few things changed on it to make it a little bit more consistent. But sometimes eventually you have to kind of plan out when you need to change the strings because if you have about 3 days where it's going to be really out of tune right after you change them, and then they start to go again after, it can be a month, 2 months in this show. So you're going to have like a week of wonky tuning on either end no matter what.
So a question from a non-musician. Why do you have to use a 65-year-old guitar?
That is because of Anais Mitchell, and I'm very thankful that she wanted that because one thing that's also amazing about Rachel Houck's set design for a show is there's so much realism in it. It's not when you're standing on it, if everything else were black around you and you couldn't see anything but the set, you'd think you were in a real bar or real place like this. So I think Anais wanted that to continue with the instruments and everything, and wanted something that felt very of the earth and very like it had been here for a long time.
Cool.
And I love that too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Amazing. We can do one more question. So Justine wants to know, what fulfills you as an artist?
I think for me, I feel fulfilled as an artist anytime I am stretching myself beyond my current capabilities. So anything that's a good challenge for me, which I guess is part of why I like doing an extra show, like a concert when I can. I just like to push myself in a healthy way. And anything that challenges me, really. So I don't like to do things that I've done before. Try to do something new.
So you're at Green Room on Sunday, and then you're on again the 22nd, correct?
Yes.
And then you're gonna keep having more dates there.
Yeah, as often as I can. I think it's a great
residency.
Yeah.
Like Billy Joel.
Yeah, except it's not Madison Square Garden in size. But you know what, though? I mean, I don't know that you could get this sort of an audience at Madison Square Garden. I don't know. Maybe Billy Joel can, though. But it's, it's just nice to have such a listening crowd. It's amazing.
Yeah. So how do people follow you on social media so they know about future shows?
I think everything's just under my name,
Reeve Carney.
I try
Reeve
my
Carney.
best to keep up, but sometimes I'm just, I think one thing, I love social media, and I love that we have it, and I love keeping in touch with my friends that way, but I think it's important to live your life, too, And I mean this for the kids watching too.
Yeah.
Like I think sometimes you gotta get busy living your life instead of telling everyone about it. But I think that is all. It's a balance because I do love social media. I love that we have it. But I'm not always as daily about it as I maybe would like to be.
Yeah, I get it. So follow him at Reeve Carney. Go see him at Green Room 42. Go see him in Hadestown. It's at the Walter Kerr Theater on 48th Street, very close to here. Good seeing you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
And by the way, the whole cast album is finally out, right?
Yes.
God, that took forever.
Yeah, I think that was smart the way they did it, though, with the streaming world, the way it is now. I think that's why they did it.
It was annoying.
But we got it all
One
now.
track dropped every once in a while. Anyway,
then we got
it's
it
so
all.
good.
Yeah.
It's
Then we
so
got
good.
it all.
And if you haven't seen Hadestown, just go see it. Don't call it Hadestown. Did you ever call it Hadestown?
No, but all my friends called it 80s Town because they
80s.
thought I was saying 80s Town. Is it like a Rock of Ages
Oh,
thing? And I'm like,
80s
not
Town.
quite, but it's like a.
You could do 80s Town. I'd be into that. Right now, he's in Hadestown.
Gotta grow the back out here.
Thank you so much, Reeve. Hey, Caitlin, why don't you take us out?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We are live at 5 every single weekday here on Facebook. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts by searching for #live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow when we talk to Michael James Scott all about Aladdin.